Hello, all. Thank you for joining us today. We're here for the Emergent Biosolutions Baltimore virtual recruiting event. We're excited to have you here today. We have several quality manufacturing team members who will be sharing their story today and discussing their work and open roles. Before we get into that, we'll share a little bit about BioBuzz and some general housekeeping for you as well. So if you're unfamiliar with BioBuzz, we are a community that exists to bring value to the biotech and life science industries. We're not just a resource, though, for the latest industry news, events, resources, and jobs, but we also connect job seekers to local employers. We provide industry professionals with ongoing career resources to continue learning and growing, and we do deep dives into industry breaking news. So if you're not already, please sign up. We have a weekly newsletter where you can connect, learn, and grow. Some housekeeping about today's event. The event is recorded, but attendees, you are not on video or on audio. So to communicate with others, please use chat. And by using the chat feature, you can communicate with other attendees as well as the panelists. But we encourage you to use the Q&A for any questions that you might have. So for any questions, please use Q&A. And to say hello, please use the chat. Aside from that, we'll also be launching some polls here today. So please keep an eye open for those and interact with them. We want to make sure that we're learning about you as well as providing the information that you came and participated here today to learn about. So with that being said, I wanted to introduce James, and James is a VP of Manufacturing Operations. He has over 25 years of quality manufacturing leadership. And he and his team today are going to be talking all about Emergent Biosolutions, the Baltimore location, their jobs, the roles that they have, the roles that are open, and the culture at Emergent. And we look forward to sharing that with you here today. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to James. Take it off.
All right. Well, thanks, Adam, and the BioBuzz team for coordinating this event today. I'm really excited to be speaking to all of you virtually today. Again, my name is James Glover. I'm the VP of Manufacturing and General Manager at the Bayview facility. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you today. These are very exciting times for Emergent. Exciting and busy times for Emergent, and I'm proud to be part of a company that is part of the pandemic response. And hopefully, through the course of today's discussion, you'll be as inspired as I am, and would enjoy working for companies such as Emergent. I'll start off by saying, I tell people often it's on the site here that we're making history, we're saving lives. These are times that you'll talk to your kids about and their grandkids. It's a very exciting time for the company. So what I want to do is I want to try to give you a little bit of perspective of the company, Emergent. I'll start a little bit with the mission statement, our vision statement, excuse me, and then we'll talk about mission, and we'll talk a little bit about just the company itself and what we do. So first of all, the vision. Our vision is to be a Fortune 500 global life sciences company. And we're focused on that as a company. And our mission is to protect and enhance over 1 billion lives by 2030. That's right, I said 1 billion lives. That's a remarkable goal to be set as a company. And here at the Bayview site, we really work diligently towards making what we call bulk drug substance, and that's drug substance. It's used for the final filling and formulation of vaccines that service the public. So what I'd like to do today is walk you through a little bit of the company and what we're all about, who we are, what we do as a company. So if you could move to the first slide, please. So a little bit about just kind of who we are as a company, right? As I mentioned before, we're a life sciences company with a diversified portfolio of products. And we do have our own internal pipeline, plus our CDMO services business, which is all centered around addressing public health threats. Emergent has a 22-year track record in preparedness and response, and has positioned itself as a leader in key public health threat markets. We're a trusted partner to our government, NGOs, and our pharma biotech innovators. We're organized in 4 distinct business units with shared services, and our overall model is scalable and sustainable. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we're all over the globe. We have 10 marketed products and 2 product candidates procured by governments and commercial entities. We also have 9 CDMO sites serving about 50 plus customers across the industry, and also in conjunction with the US government. We also have 15 plus programs from discovery through late stage development. We are at about 2,300 people, employees, but continuously growing, and we're across 19 global locations. We've been in the business 22 years, and with the current market capitalization of about 5.4 billion, so quite a bit. Next slide. So we've centered around our products and pipeline business. We have vaccines, therapeutics, devices, and the CDMO business. Those are the 4 pillars of the company. We focus on public health threats. Our portfolio is centered around public health threats like anthrax, COVID, of course, and other potential threats in the world. We have a robust pipeline using many proprietary technology modalities, and we have significant excellence in manufacturing of complex biologics. In our CDMO business, we offer development services. We do the drug substance manufacturing, and we also have drug product and packaging sites in the network. Next. So what we do, right? As I mentioned earlier, our focus as an organization is on public health threats. As you can see, we work in sectors such as the chemical sector for nerve agents, cyanide, chlorine, toxic industrial chemicals. We also have a biologics sector where we will focus on anthrax, smallpox, botulism, and other public threats. We also have a radiological nuclear section of the company, and we focus on obviously new nuclear and radiological agents. Explosives. So we also have a sector that we focus on trauma, burn, and wound care. Also for acute emergency care, influenza, poison control, antidotes, burn trauma, all of those aspects as well. And then, as I also alluded to, we also have a focus sector on emerging infectious diseases. We also focus on travel health and emerging health crises. Next slide, please. So again, just to illustrate, we have a very diverse portfolio of products in addressing multiple public health threats. As I mentioned before, we have several versions of anthrax vaccine. We have a couple of generations of smallpox. We focus on chemical agents, skin decontamination lotion kits, and Trobigard auto injector. We focus on the opioid crisis. We own the Narcan nasal spray product. Also botulism. So we have a product called BAT. It's a botulism antitoxin heptavalent. And then we also have the travel health sector where we have 2 products, Vaxcor and Vivotif, that we leverage in the market. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Marcia Baroni, who will present the remainder of the slides. So Marcia, take it away.
Thanks, James. My name is Marcia Baroni. I am the site head of quality at the Emergent's Lansing location. I've been in pharma for over 23 years, but I joined Emergent on December 2019, just in time for the start of the COVID pandemic. Since the beginning, Emergent has been actively engaged in the COVID-19 crisis. If we can go to the next slide, please. So everyone's likely already heard of Operation Warp Speed. And aside from sounding like a Star Trek episode, many people don't necessarily know what's entailed with Operation Warp Speed. So Operation Warp Speed is a collaboration, an unprecedented collaboration between government and the private sector. It's looking to accelerate the development, the manufacturing, and the distribution of COVID-19 diagnostics, therapies, and vaccines. One of the goals is to produce and deliver 300 million doses of safe and effective vaccines, and to do so at an extraordinary pace, with the initial doses available in early 2021, which, by the way, we have done. Who is working in Operation Warp Speed? It reads like an alphabet soup of government agencies. We have the HHS, which is Human and Health Services, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, NIH, the National Institute of Health, BARDA, which is the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, as well as the Department of Defense. And of course, amongst the private company partners, Emergent is playing a large role in Operation Warp Speed. Can we go to the next slide, please? So exactly how are we participating? For one part, we are deploying CDMO capacities and capabilities. We have 3 manufacturing sites in Maryland, one of them manufacturing drug substance at a large scale for AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson vaccine candidates, as well as we have the expedited expansion of viral fill finish capabilities in 2 other Maryland manufacturing facilities. If we go to the next slide, please. That's not all that we do. So we have a large number of CDMO COVID-19 partnerships between our Gaithersburg, Maryland location, the Baltimore location in Bayview for drug substance, drug product in Camden, also in Baltimore, the drug product fill finish in Rockville, Maryland, as well as the drug product that is being done in Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada. And they span between clinical and commercial. So you can see Johnson & Johnson is featured, AstraZeneca, Novavax and Vaxart. We have Humanigen, we have Providence Therapeutics, and we have BARDA. A large amount of activity. Next slide, please. But that is not the only thing that we do. So if we look across all of the CDMO services across our network, we have several different sites in Baltimore, Maryland, Michigan, Canada, Switzerland, Massachusetts. We do mammalian, viral, and microbial. We also do plasma work, gene therapy, and we do fill finish and packaging. So we work across development services, drug substance, drug product. And as you can see from the revenue generating columns, the work is only expanding. The 2024 forecast is based on activities and projects that we have already started. Next slide, please. Apart from working as a CDMO in the COVID response area, we also have our own internal emergent therapeutic candidates. So we are working on 2 separate hyperimmune therapies. Leveraging our current platforms, we're working on plasma-based hyperimmune therapies, COVID-HIG and COVID-EIG. COVID-HIG is being evaluated currently in a phase 3 study as a treatment in hospitalized patients, as well as phase 1 for prophylaxis in at-risk populations, such as healthcare workers and military. They're being produced using the plasma obtained from people and animals with high amounts of antibodies to certain organisms. In this case, the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Okay, next slide, please. So I've talked a little bit about what we do, but the really important part is how we do it. And that really is based on the people. We couldn't do what we're doing without the people that work at Emergent. And that's one of the reasons why all of you are here today. We really do look for technical expertise, but just as important is finding people that have the right culture. Our organization values and fosters innovation and accountability, but at the backbone of everything we do is collaboration. I joined Emergent 15 months ago, like I said before, and while my primary focus is the Lansing location, in those 15 months, I have helped out both at the Canton site in Massachusetts and at the Bayview site in Maryland. Every time has been a really great experience. People are open, they are welcoming. The environment is extremely fast-paced, but it is extremely collaborative. We go where the need is. So at Emergent, we go all in to share our talents and our foundational expertise to rally to the cause and to fulfill our mission of protecting and enhancing lives. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this off to Tommy Voigt. Tommy is one of our directors in the QC department.
Thank you, Marcia. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Tommy Voigt, and I am the Director of Laboratory Services here at the Camden site in Baltimore, Maryland. I also just finished working at the Bayview site, where I was there for about a month to help out in their QC department. So I've been here for 15 years at the Camden site. I started off in the laboratory. I started off as a microbiologist, fresh out of school, came here at the site and was able to work my way up through the many years of hard work that I've done. So yeah, I think that's a true testament of what hard work could bring you through this company. It's a great company to work for. So just some of the positions that we are looking for is some microbiologists. So we would like people to come and be able to test do environmental monitoring, which they would be testing the environment and sampling the environment to make sure that we're within a state of control. We would be testing also some products as well to make sure that they're microbial free or they're within their specification. We also do testing of the utilities. So anything from water sampling and water testing to testing of compressed air and gases to make sure that anything that comes into contact with the product is at low microbial contamination or no microbial contamination. We're also looking for, in the chemistry department, people to come in and be able to do some work in separations as well on the biochemistry side. So you would like people to do have some HPLC work or some anion exchange testing as well. But don't be deterred. As long as you have, you're able to come in and be able to jump right in, and we can train you on all these things. They're not things that you just have to learn straight out of the gate, but they're things that we can definitely train people on. We also have immunology, which we would do some cell culture work as well. Again, like Marcia was saying, it's a very collaborative workspace. You're working closely with manufacturing and working with validation and other departments, as well as within your own department. So it's such a great time to be at an Emergent because there's just so much going on, but it's such a good feeling at the end of the day that you're knowing that you're going to save and enhance lives. So that's pretty much it for the laboratory. So I'm going to turn this over to Mike Maurer.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Maurer. I'm responsible for manufacturing at Emergent's Bayview site in Baltimore. It is humming right now down here in Baltimore. I would say, on top of what everybody else has already offered, if you are looking for a challenge, you're talking to the right folks. If you're looking for a very busy and exciting work day, you're talking to the right folks, right? We are doing a ton of tremendous great work right now at Bayview. It's super, super busy, but it's also super rewarding. So you kind of heard it from the other folks, but I would just add, I'm down here every day working really hard with this team. When I get to go home and I see my family and my kids and I talk to them about what I'm pulling off down here with this team and that we are absolutely saving lives. We're making millions and millions of doses of COVID vaccine and we're saving people's lives, right? This is reality. This is why we come to work. This is why we're doing what we're doing. It's kind of hard to beat that, right? I mean, I could probably run a manufacturing team making just about anything, but saying that we're manufacturing vaccines are going to help people, or any of our other products that are really preserving people's health. It's ultimately rewarding, right? So that's kind of why I'm in it. I've only been here for about 8 months. I'm still excited to be here every day. I've been in pharma for a long time, longer than I care to admit. But I'm hoping that my commercial experience is helping this team stand up these programs that we're trying to accomplish right now. So what are we looking for in manufacturing at the moment? Well, I'm looking for people that are excited to be here, first of all. I'm looking for people that are quick learners. I'm looking for leadership characteristics, right? So we have openings in our supervisory ranks, in our lead operator ranks, people that can rally the team around them and help us deliver. So it's a super highly regulated environment that we work in. And it's important that we're constantly on our toes around good current manufacturing practices and EHS compliance, right? So those are two key pillars of what we do that are requirements, right? They're not options. They're key pieces of what we do, and I need people that can come in here and help with that. So again, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to you all. I'm hoping that some of you become coworkers with us, but if you do want to do that, it's going to be hard, but it'll be rewarding. And I'm going to close with a quick quote of Monastic at Emergent: we go all in, right? So we go all in to meet our commitments to our partners, to our customers, as we continue on our track record of success. So we're all in. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. I'll step in. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dana Johnston, and I am the Senior Director of Global Quality Engineering here at Emergent. I have, let's just say, 25 plus years of biotech and pharma industry experience, not only from the quality side, but also from the operations side. So I've been with Emergent since November of last year. And as Marcia had mentioned in her intro, recently I've taken on an interim role here at the Bayview site as the head of QA operations. So within Emergent, you may come in at one level, but there are always opportunities and challenges within the network that you may find yourself being a part of, which in my estimation is pretty cool. So in this current interim role as head of QA operations, I oversee the quality operations for the Bayview site. That includes the batch record review and release process, the QA oversight of validation activities at the site, and quality on the floor operations. So in terms of what we have available in the quality operations group, we currently have a number of challenging opportunities within the group, spanning all levels and ranges of experience from entry level through director level roles. Areas of opportunity include the batch or lot release function, manufacturing support in the form of quality on the floor activities, QA validation, and as well as the quality systems group. So Mike and everyone has talked about it a little bit, but from my perspective, with regard to life at Emergent, the work environment here is extremely fast-paced, challenging, but also extremely rewarding. I think our team can take great pride in the work we are doing, as we are truly impacting the lives of our loved ones, as well as millions of others. So, having that common bond and common goal amongst your coworkers makes Emergent just a great place to work. So in closing, at Emergent, we go all in to take care of ourselves, our colleagues, and our communities, because our work is so much bigger than us, and we celebrate our collective success. And now for the new hire perspective, I'd like to introduce Jen Vinhoff.
Thanks, Dana. Hi, everyone. I'm Jen. I'm an analyst in the micro department at Camden. And Tommy gave a really good description of my job, better than I could. But basically, I perform environmental monitoring of the facility and do other microbiological testing for the client's request. I attended a virtual recruitment event just like this one back in August. And I was just really struck by how passionate all of the panelists were about their job. And then I went on the site and read about the mission statement, and I just loved that they wanted to protect and enhance lives, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I applied and I had an interview, and I started a month later, and I came in without any pharma experience. My background is in parasites and coral reefs. So I'm used to working outside, and now I'm working with aseptic techniques in the clean room. So it's been a big change, and the training is intense, and it doesn't just stop after a month. It's ongoing because things are always changing, techniques and products and equipment, it's always changing. They don't just throw you to the wolves. It's, they work with you. So don't worry about that. And the environment that they provide is very supportive. Everyone is always there to help you if you need anything. And they're there to help you professionally and personally. So, there's tuition reimbursement, and there's all of these resources for you as an employee for mental health or for legal problems, anything that you want, they're there to help you. And I feel like I came in at the best time that I could to be part of the COVID response. I just feel incredibly lucky because this is a historic time. And no matter how long or hard my day has been, at the end of the day, I'm like, I feel so thankful that I did a small part to help someone, no matter how small it was. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, I helped someone. So I'm tired, but I'm proud, mostly proud, but very, very tired and very proud. So this is a great company to work for. I'm very thankful. So I hope to see some of you guys from the recruitment event soon. And with that, I'm going to send it back to Adam for questions. If you guys have any questions about micro or anything, feel free to reach out to me. Back to Adam for questions.
Thanks, Jen. So, obviously Jen's story is really exciting. We get excited about it because just like you all, she was an attendee at one of these events, and now she's part of the journey at Emergent. So I think that's really, something I wanted to make sure that you all took away from today. And outside of that, if you were on for the very beginning, another focal point, persistence and overcoming obstacles. So we had some technological challenges, but what I hope you've taken away from today and hearing from all of the individuals in the team at Emergent Quality and Manufacturing is they're working incredibly hard day in and day out against pretty tremendous obstacles, and they're persisting and they're moving forward. So I think there's a lot to be said for that as far as their organization. And I'm proud just, being able to hear about the work that they do. So with that being said, we've got some questions, and I'd like to introduce a couple more of the team from Emergent. We have Linda, Vera, and Elizabeth, who, if you'd like to come on and join us, love to just say a quick hello to the other attendees. You can take your video off and unmute, and then we can get through a couple questions and make sure that everyone's questions from today are answered.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Hi, everyone. Linda Gillen. I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition here. It's so great that we've had strong participation at this event. Big thank you to all the panelists. Questions have been coming in. We've been trying to answer them as they come. A few very specific questions. We seem to have a lot of chemists on the phone, which is great. So trying to answer some of those questions coming through. A bit of a broader question, and maybe James, I would put this to you, and then maybe Jen can chime in from a newer person, and anyone else really, but what can a new person expect in their first few months when they join in terms of, we know it's a crazy time, but also ramping people up for success? Maybe there are some things that you can tell us about expectations there.
Yeah, sure. Linda, I'll start it off. Wow. I didn't mention this earlier, but I started about a year ago, last March, right at the cusp of the pandemic. So, really what to expect. I think to expect to work hard. I think that's really what we're here for. I think Jennifer mentioned, I think a lot of us go home tired, but fulfilled, right? You're working for a greater purpose, right? And I think, and I tell my wife this, I tell her it's not hard to get up every morning and go to work. I'm inspired by the people that I work with. I'm inspired about what we're trying to accomplish as an organization. So expect to work hard, but certainly feel proud of what you're doing every single day.
That's great. Thank you. Jen, when you joined, is there anything that you would add in terms of sort of ramping up in the role and what we were able to provide, hopefully, to make you successful in your position?
Discipline. That's the number one thing I would say for candidates: be disciplined and be ready to learn and take initiative. That's what I would say. And I look forward to coming to work, and my coworkers have become my family. Just be ready to learn. Be willing to put yourself out there. What I would say.
Great.
Yeah.
Vera and Elizabeth, I'm not sure if you saw any questions come through that you would pose to the group.
There were quite a few. I think a lot of them were pretty technical type questions, but I'm particularly excited just to ask Tommy, who's been with the organization for a while and came in pretty much brand new and fresh and young, and have been with us for a while. And so how has it changed since you've been with the organization?
That's a great question, Vera. When I first started here, I think we literally had about 5 clients that we filled for. And the vast majority of the clients that have grown since then has been tremendous. And to know that you're touching so many different diseases or different things out there, that has been such a great feeling at the end of the day. But I think also is just you've seen so many people come and go, but it's a lot of people have left, but the people who have left to go into other opportunities. It wasn't like, they loved working for Emergent. It's such a great company to work for, and I can't stress that enough, but it was, as always, was a positive leave. It wasn't something where, somebody just wanted to go to another biotech. It was always something where I had many employees who decided, this was a great starting point for me, but I wanted to now get into nursing, or I wanted to now go into, so I feel like it's a great place to work for and to kind of find out who you are and what really interests you as a young person straight out of school, or somebody who's, basically just within the industry a couple of years. I think it's a great stepping stone if you want to look into how this industry works. But yeah, no, I think it's a great thing. So I just love the growth that I've seen, and just the amount of other clients that we've been able to bring on to help with other life-changing diseases and medicines.
Fantastic, thank you. And for me, my name is Vera Biles, and I'm one of the talent partners. I guess I should introduce myself. And I've been with the organization for 8 months now. And I support the recruiting and hiring efforts for quality across multiple locations, mainly focused on Bayview and Camden. Jennifer, it's nice to see you, because you were definitely a winner from day one when I talked to you.
Thank you.
And I think, as most of you have said, it's such a fantastic organization. And I think for me, like when I talk to candidates, it's one of the things that I definitely stress. It's been an amazing 8 months. If you enjoy working in environments where things are moving quickly, and that gets you excited, it's definitely a great place to be, where you can learn a lot. Very inclusive environment, where they're not afraid to tackle like the hard stuff. So we certainly would love to have you on board.
Jen, there's a specific question for you. Someone's asking about your background. Perhaps they're in a similar place in their career, and just wondering what your background was prior to joining Emergent.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, prior to here, I worked at University of Maryland, and I was creating artificial coral reefs. And I wanted, I think, more structure. I was working under a grant situation, and we didn't know if we'd get funding from year to year. And I wanted to help people. And so this was it. This was it for me. I wanted to make the switch. I'm so happy I did.
I could jump in, kind of alluding to that in the past and even today, professional growth, career growth. Emergent has some great programs. Marcia, having recently transitioned into the Baltimore site, what are some of the, professional growth leadership opportunities at Emergent? And if any of you could speak to them so that the attendees here today get an understanding of that and how it can impact their careers.
I might be able to start us off. I mean, there's a lot of different programs. We heard about a lot of people who have been with Emergent for the past couple of years and joined recently, but there's a lot of my coworkers that have been here 5, 10, 15, 17 years. So there's a lot of opportunities for growth. Emergent really believes in fosters continuing education. So I'm part of the tuition reimbursement program. I am doing my MBA at night and I get tuition reimbursement for some of my classes. So there's a lot of support. There's a lot of support from management in terms of individual development, participation in external forums, and opportunities like these where we are taking temporary assignments and going to different sites or different departments and working on cross-functional projects and really getting the experience that allows you to grow professionally.
That's awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Another great question that came in, this open for anyone who'd like to answer, or maybe a couple people. What advice would you give to someone who's preparing for an interview with you? We've heard a little bit about the process, but in that preparation, obviously, you're doing your research, you're looking out there, you're attending today's event, but once you decide you'd like to apply, where would you suggest people prepare?
Maybe I'll jump in on that one.
Sure.
So my name is Elizabeth McClett. I am the HR site head for one of the locations in Baltimore, our central warehouse, and then also our Rockville facility. And something that I would tell folks is really you're interviewing us just as much as we're really looking to interview you. Please go out, utilize LinkedIn. Most of us are really good about keeping our profiles up to date and things that we have. So we do want to make sure that everything that you're interested in, you can find out about us as well. So definitely check things out on LinkedIn and follow Emergent on LinkedIn as well. There's a lot of great news stories out there about us, and you can find out things that maybe you wouldn't just glean from the interview process.
Fantastic. Thank you. I have a question I'd love to ask Dana or anyone else who wants to answer it, but what was it specifically about Emergent that made you decide to take your career there?
So I think for me, it was, I was leaving a site-specific head of quality role, and I joined Emergent in a global role as part of their global compliance and quality team. So for me, that was interesting and enticing in the sense that it would not only be one site in general, it was more of a network approach where there would be multiple sites under my guidance. So for me, that was a big part of it. But the bigger part, I think, was just Emergent and what they were doing, their business, their role in the pandemic, and what a lot of the great and fantastic things they were working on to help the world, basically. So that for me was the biggest selling point in joining Emergent.
Would anyone else like to expand on that?
Yeah, I'll add real quick. I think Emergent's really well placed, kind of in, I'll say, that medium-sized growth company, right? So I spent almost my entire career in large pharma, and I learned a ton and I contributed a ton, but it's also, I'll say, can be a bit slow to move and turn, right? Kind of like a big ship. So I think coming into a medium-sized company where you have a bit more of that startup feel, but also based in some security of a pipeline, it's a nice combination, right? I mean, I think you have a nice combination there. So that's part of the reason I joined.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, oh, I'm sorry, Adam. There was a question in the queue about one question was the difference between upstream and downstream. And then I guess I would add to that, because we get the questions a lot in recruiting, is does it matter if you are deep in one or the other? And is there an opportunity to stretch across at Emergent?
Yeah, sure. So the answer is absolutely yes, you can stretch across. I think if you have any experience in kind of, I'll say the biotech vaccine space, whether it's in school or in industry, would be very useful. Upstream is where we make the proteins or the products, or in some of these cases, virus-like particles, by using genetically engineered organisms or viral vector systems. The downstream is where we purify it all out and try to get rid of any of the impurities to get to a final drug substance that can then be a further process for filling. So that's kind of the differences. I would say I wouldn't get too concerned about specialization at this point. We have so much to do here that as long as you are capable, a quick learner, I would say the other piece is passionate, right? So a high level of care and want to do the job well, we'd be more than interested to talk to you.
Great, that's helpful. And people are asking about specific training or certifications that might be needed if you're a little bit more on the entry level side. Mike, I don't know or James, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, certifications not so much, but I would say, we do particularly seek out, 4-year science or engineering degrees, life sciences, typically. I mean, there's always folks that, can break that mold, which is great. So I think diversity in background is helpful. But we definitely need folks that can come in and learn quickly. So, demonstrate a capability to learn. And I'll say in some of the more science-based educational backgrounds is very useful.
That's helpful. Thank you. I think, Adam, for the most part, we've been trying to keep up with questions in the chat. And for those on the phone, if you have a pretty specific question, we will make sure to try and answer those and have been, and pushing them to Tommy and some others on the phone who might be able to help us give you more specific answers. So we're continuing to go at that. But I'll ask Elizabeth and Vera if there are any other questions in the queue, or if anyone has any closing comments they want to make.
I have one great closing question if no one else wants to. Someone asked, how has the company adapted to constraints of COVID in terms of maintaining the company culture? And Emergent is obviously well known for your company culture. I thought that was great. If like to get a couple answers there, that would be a great way to close out.
Sure, maybe I'll take that for the group. I'm on one of the main teams that works with our different sites on anything is how do we respond to COVID and that sort of thing, and how have we responded in the pandemic. So the company's mission long before COVID ever hit was to protect and enhance life. You'll see that all over all of our branding. It is something we all take very seriously. Each of us know that our mission and what we commit to every single day is to protect and enhance the lives of others. As soon as the pandemic was seen and coming to fruition, our leaders in the business truly acted quickly. I don't just say it as an HR person, I say it as an employee of this organization. We've got amazing policies to protect us. Actions were taken swiftly to separate people where best possible, or move large portions of the workforce out, to really be certain that we are doing everything that we can, and to put additional protocols in place to protect everyone. So again, that protect and enhance life isn't just a hashtag. It isn't just something you'll see, when you look us up. It's something that we mean every moment of it. And we've got a lot of protocols in place in case something were to occur. We also have got great rapid response teams for those things. So I'm very, very proud of what Emergent's done for us so far. I don't know, some of my other cohorts on the teams might want to respond, but I think it's been a great response.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That's helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Elizabeth. Would anyone else like to, before we wrap things up here, any closing statements outside?
I have one comment that I probably should have mentioned earlier on, but a lot of folks talking about entry-level positions. I wanted to share a quick story with the group here today. About 28 years ago, I started as an operator, and now I'm a site head. So you can do it, right? And you have to. It starts with applying. It starts with starting somewhere, and I think there's a wonderful set of opportunities here at Emergent. We're continuing to grow, and that's one thing. You talk about opportunities. We're growing. The business is growing. I think, as I mentioned earlier, we want to protect and enhance 1 billion lives by 2030. That's a lot of people. And it takes a lot of effort to get to that point. So there are opportunities here. They're existing right now as we speak, and they will continue to exist. So, come join us.
Fantastic story, James. Inspiring work that you all do, and nothing great comes easy. So, I just want to thank the Emergent team here today for your time. I've seen a lot of the attendees, really appreciative of the time here. Hopefully we provided you with a really great overview of Emergent, answered your questions, and, that we try to become accessible to you as well. So you can reach out to Linda or Vera or myself with questions. The LinkedIn profiles for those that participated today are available on the event page. Take every opportunity you can to make sure that you got the value out of attending today. And with that being said, you can go to ebsi.com and go to the careers page. You can apply there as well. So if there's no other questions or statements, thank you all for attending today. Thank you again to the Emergent team, and we look forward to hearing from you.